Welcome back to the Football Forecast. The group stage is over. The wait is done. We are officially in the knockout stage of the 2026 World Cup, and from this point forward, every single team that steps onto the pitch knows the reality. Win or go home. There are no second chances, no tiebreakers, no consolation points. It is pure football, pure pressure, pure drama. Tonight we have 2 round of 32 matches that could not be more different in terms of storylines. First up, South Africa versus Canada. The very first knockout match of the entire 2026 World Cup. Kicking off at 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Then on Monday, Brazil versus Japan at NRG Stadium in Houston. 5-time world champions against one of the most tactically disciplined sides at this entire tournament. And before we get into either match, here is the question that every football fan in North America is asking right now. Alphonso Davies has not played a single minute at this World Cup due to a recurring leg injury. Tonight could be the moment Canada's biggest star finally enters the tournament, or Canada could be facing South Africa without the one player who changes everything about their attacking game. We break down both matches in full, who is in, who is out, what the data says, and where we see these games going. And here's my personal take before we even start. The Davies situation is the single most under-discussed variable in this entire round of 32. If he's fit enough for even 20 minutes off the bench, Canada's entire attacking dynamic changes. If he's not, South Africa's chances of pulling the upset double overnight. That's not just analysis, that's the difference between a comfortable Canada win and a potential 90-minute defensive slog. Let us get into it. Match 1. South Africa versus Canada. And you need to understand what this game represents before we look at a single statistic. Both of these nations have never, not once, in their entire football history, won a World Cup knockout match. South Africa, who hosted the 2010 World Cup on home soil, went out in the group stage. Canada, competing in their first World Cup since 1986, have never even reached this round. Whoever wins tonight does not just advance to the last 16. They make history that their country will talk about for generations. That is the weight on every player who steps onto that pitch at SoFi Stadium. Now let us talk team news, because it completely reshapes how you analyze this match. The biggest story is Alphonso Davies, Canada's most recognizable football export, the Bayern Munich left-back, who is one of the best players in the world in his position, has not played a single minute at this World Cup. A recurring leg injury has kept him on the sideline through all 3 group games. Canada's coaching staff have been managing him carefully, and the round of 32 is the moment where they have to make a decision. Risk him from the start, bring him on as an impact substitute, or continue to protect him for a potential quarterfinal. What Canada lose without Davies is enormous. He is their primary width creator on the left. His pace in behind opponent defenses is the tool that stretches backlines and creates the space that Jonathan David needs centrally. Without Davies at full capacity, Canada's attacking left channel is noticeably less dangerous. And here's what I keep coming back to. Canada's group stage results, without Davies, were fine: 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, but they were never truly convincing against a side that sat deep. South Africa will sit deeper than anyone Canada faced in Group B. That's a tactical mismatch that favors the underdog if Davies isn't on the field. The other injury news that has impacted Canada severely is the loss of Ismail Kone. The Swallow midfielder broke his leg against Qatar in the group stage and is completely out of this tournament. Kone was a key press trigger and engine in Canada's midfield. His absence changes the balance of their central unit and forces Jesse Marsch to reorganize how Canada press and transition through the middle of the pitch. Without Kone, Canada's midfield loses its most aggressive ball winner. That means South Africa's counterattacks will face less immediate pressure in the transition phase. And for a team built on absorbing and breaking, that extra half second of time on the ball is gold. South Africa, on the other hand, arrive here with a squad that is virtually fully available and carrying extraordinary momentum for a team that nobody expected to reach this stage. Cast your mind back to where Hugo Broos's side were standing after 2 group games, bottom of Group A. No wins, a loss to Mexico, and a draw with Czech Republic. And then, in their final group match, they beat South Korea, 1-0. Thapelo Maseko, in the 63rd minute, scoring the goal that changed South African football history. That moment, that comeback from the brink, has given this squad a confidence that no statistic can fully capture. What's fascinating about this South Africa side is that they've already exceeded every external expectation. They're playing with house money. In knockout football, that freedom from pressure is often more dangerous than tactical perfection, and Canada, as the favourites, carry all the weight of expectation. South Africa's system is built on a 5-4-1 defensive block. They sit deep, they stay compact, and they wait. Teboho Makona protects the space in front of the defence. Real Bohile Mofokeng provides the creative spark when they have the ball and need to build quickly on the counter. Their goalkeeper has been solid throughout. This is not a team that will try to outplay you in possession. They will frustrate you, absorb your pressure, and then punish you with directness and pace the moment they win the ball. Canada have more individual quality on paper, that much is clear. Jonathan David has been one of the players of the entire group stage. 4 goals, including a hat-trick against Qatar. And the kind of clinical finishing inside the penalty area that makes him one of the most dangerous centre-forwards in this tournament. Sire Laren has scored in all 3 group games, and his physical presence gives Canada a second goal threat that South Africa's centre-backs will need to monitor constantly. The issue is whether Canada can create the clear chances their quality deserves when they are facing a side that defends with 9 and 10 men behind the ball. And when they are doing it without the player who is supposed to unlock those defensive blocks from the left. I'll be honest. Without Davies stretching that left flank, Canada's attacking patterns become narrower and more predictable. South Africa's defensive block can sit even tighter because they don't have to worry about covering the wide spaces as urgently. That makes Jonathan David's job twice as hard. He's already marked by 2 centres, and now he has even less space to operate. Head-to-head, South Africa and Canada have met exactly once, a friendly in Durban, in 2007. 19 years ago, where South Africa won 2-0. That result has essentially zero relevance to tonight. The playing styles have changed, the squads have changed, and the stakes could not be more different. Tactically, the key battle is this. Can Canada's midfield create the half spaces and through-ball opportunities that Jonathan David needs, even without Davies pulling defenders wide? And can South Africa stay disciplined for long enough that, when Canada eventually grow frustrated, the counter-attack opportunities open up? If South Africa score first, this becomes a very dangerous evening for Canada. If Canada score first, and South Africa have to open up, Canada's individual quality takes over. Here's the scenario I keep picturing. If it's 0-0 at 60 minutes, the tension in SoFi Stadium becomes unbearable. Canada will start pushing more men forward. That's when South Africa's counters become truly lethal. Maseko's goal against South Korea came from exactly that kind of transition. He's the kind of player who thrives when the game opens up. Our assessment: Canada are the stronger side on paper, and should have enough to advance but missing. Davies is a genuine problem, and South Africa are the most dangerous underdog at this entire round of 32. If there is going to be a shock result in the first weekend of the knockout stage, this is the match where it happens. We see this game going to extra time before Canada find the decisive moment through David. But do not sleep on South Africa. Hugo Broos's side have already beaten the tournament once just by being here. Now let us move to match 2. Brazil versus Japan. Monday afternoon at NRG Stadium in Houston, and the stakes here are equally enormous, just framed completely differently. Brazil are the 5-time world champions. They topped Group C with 7 points, 2 wins and a draw, the draw coming against a strong Morocco side. They have conceded just 1 goal in 3 matches. The best defensive record in their group, by a significant margin. And at the front end of the pitch, Vinicius Jr. has been the joint top scorer of the entire tournament through the group stage, with 4 goals. The combination of Vinicius's directness, Matheus Cunha's intelligent movement, and Carlo Ancelotti's tactical flexibility has made Brazil one of the most complete attacking units at this World Cup. What's impressed me most about this Brazil side is their defensive discipline. It's the area where Ancelotti has added the most value. In previous tournaments, Brazil's attacking flair sometimes came at the cost of defensive solidity. This team is different. They're patient, they're controlled, and they don't panic when a match isn't going their way. That composure is what separates tournament winners from early eliminations. On team news for Brazil, Ancelotti has managed his squad carefully through 3 group games and has not given any indication of significant rotation ahead of the knockout rounds. Brazil's starting 11 has largely remained consistent. Their physical condition appears strong, and there are no injury concerns coming out of their final group match. This is Brazil at full strength, fully rested for knockout football, and completely focused. Japan's squad story is the opposite of instability. They have been one of the most consistent lineups at this entire World Cup. Their 11 starters have barely changed across 3 group games, and that continuity has built a level of tactical cohesion that is genuinely difficult to disrupt. Toru Endo is the defensive anchor who controls their mid-block shape. Takefusa Kubo is the creative outlet who starts Japan's transitions. Kyoru Mitoma provides the wide threat. Dazan Maeda scored the goal against Sweden that confirmed Japan's advancement. And in their final group match, Japan drew 1-1 with Sweden in a controlled, organized performance that showed exactly what this team is built for: absorb, wait, and then strike with precision when the opportunity comes. What I admire about this Japan side is their tactical discipline. They don't try to be something they're not. They know their identity, they trust their system, and they execute it with relentless consistency. In a knockout match against a superior opponent, that clarity of purpose is often more valuable than individual brilliance. Japan's most recent meeting with Brazil carries real psychological weight. In October 2025, less than a year before this World Cup, Japan came from 2 goals down to beat Brazil 3-2 in a friendly. Brazil's Éder Militão, who is the linchpin of Brazil's defensive structure, but has already publicly spoken about Japan's threat ahead of this match, which tells you that inside the Brazil camp, they are not treating Japan as a straightforward fixture. Let me be honest about that friendly result. It was a friendly, not a World Cup knockout match. But psychology matters in football. Japan's players genuinely believe they can beat Brazil because they've done it before. And in a high-stakes knockout game, that belief, that absence of fear, can be the difference between a team that crumbles under pressure and a team that rises to the occasion. But the data tells a clear story. Brazil have beaten Japan 11 times in 14 meetings. Their only World Cup encounter, the 2006 group stage, ended 4-1 to Brazil. Japan's tactical system, the deep block and counter, is extremely effective against teams that overcommit men forward and leave space in behind. The question for Japan tonight is whether Vinicius Jr. and Cunha are quick enough and unpredictable enough in their movement to create overloads before Japan's defensive shape can set. If Brazil rush and chase the game, Japan are dangerous. If Brazil are patient, which under Ancelotti's management they have been throughout this tournament, they will find the spaces in Japan's block and Vinicius will punish them. I keep coming back to one stat. Brazil have conceded just 1 goal in 3 group games. That's not a coincidence. That's a defense that's been drilled to stay focused, even when the attack is dominating possession. Japan's counters will be dangerous, but Brazil's defensive recovery, Menos Militão, Marquinhos, the fullback's tracking back has been elite. If Japan can't convert their 1 or 2 big chances, this could be a comfortable Brazil win that doesn't tell the full story of how close the game actually was. The critical tactical matchup. Japan's fullback defensive discipline versus Brazil's wide forwards. If Vinicius pins Japan's right back inside, Rodrigo or another runner can arrive from deep into the space on the left. Japan's best moments, against better opposition, have come when their fullbacks recovered quickly enough to prevent those overlapping runs from reaching the byline. If Japan's shape holds for the first hour and Brazil have not scored, this becomes a completely different kind of match. I'll say this: if Japan are still level at the hour mark, all the pressure shifts to Brazil. The clock starts working against the favourites. Ancelotti's side haven't faced that situation yet in this tournament. They've always been in control. Japan are the perfect team to test that mental resilience. Our assessment: Brazil are the superior side at every position, except collective defensive organization, where Japan can genuinely compete. We see Vinicius scoring his 4 goals in 3 games. Is a pattern that does not simply stop in the knockout stage. And Brazil controlling enough of the ball to prevent Japan from building sustained counterattack sequences. But Japan will create at least one clear chance. And if Brazil's fullbacks push too aggressively, Japan can score. Brazil 2-1, or Brazil 2-0, if Japan cannot convert their one clear opportunity. The final 15 minutes will be the tensest of the match if Brazil are only 1 ahead. 2 matches, 4 nations. And in both cases, history is on the line. South Africa and Canada are chasing their first ever World Cup knockout stage victory. Brazil are chasing a record 6th World Cup title, 1 match at a time. And Japan are carrying the belief that they genuinely beat these 5-time champions less than a year ago. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below right now. Which of these 2 matches are you most excited for? Are you backing South Africa's incredible underdog story to continue and shock Canada? Or do you think David and Laren have too much firepower? And in match 2, do you believe Japan can reproduce their 2025 comeback against the greatest international team in history? Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. The knockout stage is here, and we are covering every single round of 32 match with the same depth and detail you have seen today. Follow us on all our socials for live score updates, real-time stats, and post-match reaction as tonight's results come in. All the links are right there in the description. This is the Football Forecast. We will see you in the next one.